We should be live now. Yep.
I wonder if am I able to share the live?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Before you start, let me share it on my phone. Where is it? Is it on your page?
It's on my page. It's on TKO's page, and
Okay.
you can just go under it and hit the share.
Okay. Let me share.
Y'all look good.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. I think you're still on mute, Josh.
I think I feel good today.
Good. Good. I thought you was just being shady, Josh, with the.
Oh, if we talking about looking good, that's you. I'm just trying to catch up. That's what that is. You already know. Come on, talk all of it.
But no, I wanna welcome everybody into this space. Give some people some time to hop on with us. I was telling Josh and Camika that I picked orange out of the rainbow because it represents healing, and I want to offer this as a healing space. So if y'all want to, I'm gonna take like 3 breaths because and usher like what we need in this space and in this moment, and we're just gonna have a good damn time. So yeah. Now that I'm back out of Facebook jail,
Free the homie, yeah.
I saw y'all hold it down for me.
We had to.
Okay, y'all. We're gonna breathe together. We're just gonna take 3 deep breaths, and we're just gonna bring it in and exhale. One more time. And exhale. And this last one, give it a real good one. And exhale. And let's do this. Welcome my people into the space. Oh my God. I was told I don't have many friends. I either have family or I got some people I know. And y'all, I'm on here today with my family. 2 beautiful, beautiful people doing work in the community around suicide awareness, prevention, Black queer youth, just amazing work, poetry, art. And I'm really limiting you, Josh, when I say poetry and art, just an all-around artist. And I don't want to just say, oh, Camika's this activist, community activist. This is a woman who really cares about making sure that children are protected and loved. That is a whole ass movement by itself. So I want to just thank you both for being on here with me. And most definitely, I'm probably not going to be professional with y'all. I need to go ahead and let that be known right now. I'm not.
Right, throw it away right now. None of that.
But my name is TC. I use they them pronouns. I am the Arts and Communications Director for the Knights and Orchid Society under the leadership of Quentin Q. Bell and Janine Bell, Neen Bell. And we just have a good time. Good people. Wonderful people. You hear that, Q and Neen? Good people. Good people. And I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves.
All right. Hi, everyone. Josh Baker here. Pronouns he, him. I am a licensed master social worker as well as a performance artist. Very passionate about LGBTQIA plus advocacy as well as minority mental health. So happy to share space with y'all tonight.
And I am Camika Shelby, the mother of the late Nigel Shelby. I didn't actually choose to be an activist. It kind of chose me. So, yeah, that's my story.
So we're just gonna jump right into it. Hit it hard because I know we don't. This conversation needs to extend more than just an hour. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. We need to continue to have these conversations, but I just want to put what's going to happen now is just the tip of the iceberg of what we need in community. So I'm diving into it. So I'm going right to you, Josh. What does safety mean for queer Black children?
So here's what I love. The last time we got to get together, you asked me what community meant to me. And ever since then, it was so transformative for my life because I had to really sit and think about it. And the answer I gave to you that for me, community is safety and reciprocity. And where the two are not present, for me, community is not present. So when you ask me the question about what support means for Black queer youth, if I gave you one simple word, it's hope. It's an alternative that we are not presented in the institutions that we defer to, right? Because we're talking about youth. We're talking about one of the most vulnerable populations that we have, that regardless of the intellectual autonomy we might have internally as kids, we can't make the decisions that we want to make. We defer to authority. So what does that mean when you have religious institutions that are telling you are wrong and are not supporting you? When you have academic institutions that cannot sanction and protect you? When you have criminal justice system that is obviously not going to give you an okay of affirmation? So support means hope. Support means an alternate story. You know, we're here, you know, as activists and also as creatives, and we understand the importance of our narrative, of reclaiming the narrative, of storytelling, and of being the expert of our own experience. So for queer youth who are able to come to the table and tell you, hey, this is who I am, it's not your job as the adult to try to be the co-author of their story, to try to be the editor and revisionist of their story. So when I come to this conversation, I have the unique experience, right? So I have the experiential lens, which is like, what is it to be a Black queer adult man who was a Black queer child? And I also have the academic lens, which is to come in and say, hey guys, you do know, like, when kids develop, like, what you think about them and say about them projects onto them, and that is who they become. So if you tell them that they are worthless, that they are wrong, that they are an abomination, that no matter how much they are trying to assimilate to the identity you have said they need to assimilate to, for whatever reason, they can't do it, you know, from personal experience, nights upon nights of prayers for this thing to be taken away, like literally doing mental acrobatics daily, trying to figure out how to conceal such a heavy secret. And like the difference that a space of affirmation would have been, not just understanding, but what if we even had an attempt at understanding? Because one of the first things that so many people say is, man, I'm just gonna be honest with you, I just don't get it. I'm pretty sure you didn't get a lot of things in high school, but you know you needed to graduate, right? I'm sure you did out of the womb knowing how to work, but you knew that you had to provide for yourself and you needed a check to eat, to have a place to stay. You didn't understand these tenets either, but you prioritized them because you understood for your survival that these were things that you needed to do. So support can be so many things, but for me, like I said, from both a professional lens as, you know, the social worker who comes in understanding how malleable our youth are, and also as a kid who lived it, who's like, yo, if it would have been a couple more pillars of support, how different would some of our stories have been? So for me, support is hope.
So this is what we're doing out the gate.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, this is what we're doing out the gate. My God, you said a word, because I was a church kid, you know, and then I was this youth minister, and I was trying to hide because I thought something was wrong with me. And I didn't think it was possible for Black parents to love their children. I'm gonna be honest with you, until I met Camika. I had never seen an example of it. Didn't know anything about it. I didn't know this woman, you know, and then I got to, you know, see her with her family. And I got to see that this baby Nigel was loved, yo. Like I wanted that as a child. So to Camika, because I the pictures don't even give it justice, the community you have around you with your family. Your sisters don't play about you. You hear me? They don't play about you. And I love that. But as a parent, what would you tell another Black parent who's unsure how to support their queer child?
You know what? My answer is so simple. Ask them. There are so many different kids in this world with different personalities. What Nigel may have needed may not be what the next child needs. So it's just as simple as asking them what they need. When you ask them what they need, listen. You know, we was brought up where children were seen and not heard. In my era, for a child to speak their opinion, it was kind of considered being disobedient or talking back, shall I say. But the way these kids are now, they have to be taught and raised different because they are different.
Yeah.
So, you know, with us, we couldn't really speak our mind without it coming off as disrespectful. But now we actually have to allow our children to speak their minds simply because we can't put our thoughts and beliefs off on them because they're different from what we are. They're a lot more emotional, you know, than we were back then. So I would just say, ask them, you know, listen to your child. They can tell you what they need, even if you don't agree with it. It's your job as a parent to guide them. But honestly, you're not going to know how best to guide them if you don't even know who your child is. You're not going to know who your child is if you don't get to know your child. Not the child that you want them to be, not the child that you expect them to be, but the child that they are. You have to get to know that person. You have to ask that person. These kids are very vocal nowadays, so trust me. If you ask, they'll tell you what they need. You just have to listen. And even though you don't agree with it all the time, you can't go about situations always putting your thoughts and your feelings. You have to listen to them. Let them be able to express how they feel, and you be acceptive of it without being judgmental.
That's do you hear that? Do you hear the love? Do you hear that? Ask questions. Be supportive. I am 35 years old and I just started transitioning a year ago because I was still scared of what my mama would have thought and my other mama because my grandmother raised me and she passed April 1st, 2019. And I was terrified. And it's just this thing of like, I didn't want to lose my community. But the more I started accepting me, the more I realized them people were in my community. So like to hear that, to see a Black mother be so supportive because Black women, Black moms, they do so much. And looking back, a shameless plug, margins, Black women, mothers helping Black women, they help Black moms who need just a little bit of community. And it goes a long way. And I think about how my mother was young when she had us. She didn't know what it was to be queer or gay or anything like that. And here you are struggling. And then on top of that, my baby comes out to me, right? I took that as her not liking me. Now that I'm older, she didn't have resources. She didn't have community. She didn't have grace. She didn't know. So to hear you sit here and say, you know, ask your kids. I'm like, we're getting somewhere. We're moving somewhere. It gives us hope. It gives me hope to see y'all here. I'm gonna quit talking because I think this ain't about me. We're gonna move on to the next question.
You giving the gems too. Don't retreat.
I'm trying to get but just like this was okay. But like seeing this, like we always say we keep us safe. And that representation matters and this visibility. And for a lot of us coming out, a lot of Black people coming out, it's not an option because there is no safety in place for when I quote unquote come out. What is the name of the group? Camika, you're the ambassador for
National Black Justice Coalition. David John.
And if I'm not mistaken, David John says, not coming out. I'm inviting you in.
He will.
That's powerful.
Stop you and correct
right?
you.
Okay, I'm not coming out. I'm coming in. And let's talk about that too. You're the Alabama, you're in Huntsville, Alabama, and you're the National Black Justice Coalition Black Youth Advocate and Ambassador, right? Wow. So that means you go and talk to a lot of audiences and crowds and things like that. I want to know, because you speak to parents and audience and supporting their children in suicide awareness. What have you noticed when it comes to how Black queer youth are treated and supported when you come into these spaces?
It's sad to say, but there are not a lot of Black parents that are supportive. And it's hurtful.
Mm.
The reason why is because I lost my child. I supported Nigel. My family supported Nigel. Like, we loved Nigel. It wasn't the lack of love in his home that made him feel like he didn't want to exist anymore. It was the lack of love from the world.
Ooh.
So what's hurtful is if my child had love at home but still felt like this because of the lack of love in the world, then how do those children feel that don't have love in the world and don't have love at home? So it's very hurtful. Different times that I have went to do speeches and stuff, I have come in contact with so many children, and I look around and I'm like, where are the parents? There are supportive parents in the world. I'm not saying that there's not. What I'm saying is I'm not seeing many in our Black community. We have got to let go of this stigma of what other people think should be, and live with what you think should be. If you want to love your child, love your child. Don't let society tell you you shouldn't love your child because your child different from the next child. They supposed to be different. Like, I don't get it. Nobody is going to be alike. Everybody has their own thoughts, beliefs, different personalities. What I like, you might not like. What you like, I might not like. But that doesn't mean I or you deserve less. That doesn't mean I or you should be treated different. That doesn't mean, that we should be alienated or they should be alienated because you don't understand them. It may not be meant for you to understand, but that doesn't make it any less than what you do understand. So I just feel like it's time as a race, as a society, that we let our guards down and quit letting other people tell us what's love. Quit letting other people tell us what's normal. Quit letting other people tell us what we should accept. Because I don't care what nobody say about mine. Dead or alive, Nigel was my child and I loved him. And I don't care if he wanted to put on tennis shoes or some heels. That was still my child, and I was not gonna love him no less. And that's because that's truly how I feel. I can say that I'm thankful that I grew up in a household where my mom was open minded. My mom was not closed minded. Like, she didn't shut anyone out. Her doors were open to anybody. So it was easy for me to love my son because I was shown that love. My mom's best friend growing up, which is my cousin, and her first cousin, he dressed in drag all my life. It was normal for me to be able to love someone that wanted, to be themselves because I grew up around it. So there are a lot of people that are the way they are because they are stuck in their ways, and that's how they was taught. However, it's time to tear all them bridges down that you had built and start building new ones.
Shout out to Bronzy.
Right.
Love a good
Love
drag
him.
show. Shout out to
I
Bronzy.
wish he was here right now, but he's not feeling well today, so he's not over here.
Okay,
But I'm
all the
sure he's
love.
probably watching.
All the love. One of my faves. All the love. Shout out to Bronzy. You said something so powerful. Um, So we were trying to have a youth center in Huntsville, this Black queer youth center, and then COVID hit. But one of the big principles of it was when we say that we wanted a place for the children to come and heal and have resources and all these things, parents were not excluded from that conversation, because it doesn't make sense for me to create a safe environment here in this building for you, and then I got to send you back out into the world. I got to send you back home to where mom may not know language.
Yeah.
She may not understand like why you don't feel comfortable in certain clothes. She may not understand why you don't even want to be called by certain pronouns. But how dare we say, oh, this place is safe, but we're not making sure that there's groceries in the house. I can't worry about
Right.
baby over here if we hungry too. Does mom have transportation? Like holistic work, making sure that from the child to the mom, from the home to the school, because we have failed so many children not speaking up more. We have failed so many children not calling out these schools more. We have failed so many children by not talking to the violence that education does provide to our children. Public education is violent. Let's keep it a buck. Curriculum,
Right.
we learn how to hate ourselves there. So like saying, again, I can go off on a tangent, but I'm gonna move on to Josh. You are a poet. You are a visual artist. You are a photographer, social worker, master social work. Let's put that out there. Now, I don't care. I'm gonna drop this too. I'm gonna drop this too. Soon, women going to school to soon be Dr. Joshua Alexander Baker. You have all these accolades. You have all these things. And if people really knew your backstory, my God. And I would love for you to share a little bit of that too. But you're a whole movement through this world, right? I even talk about how your softness has encouraged me. There's power in softness. There's power in the way that you show up. What motivates your movement through this world?
So number one, I love that you brought up softness, because especially growing up, like as a cis man, the idea of softness is supposed to run like so contra to what it is to be a man. So to be able to embrace that, I think is such a beautiful aspect of it. But when I think about my movement, I think about possibility. And if there's one poem, if there's one research project, if there is one think piece, one visual, one conversation like this that has the potential to change the trajectory of someone's life for the better, then I feel like I've done my job. Because I'm finally in a place where I can operate in what I feel is my purpose. And I don't mind the backlash that might come with that. I think back to a sermon I was watching with Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she gets into what is passion, right? And when we break it down from its Latin origins, passion means to suffer. You know, when we are out here as queer activists and we are on the front line saying, this is who we are, this is not what we want, this is what we demand, you're going to get some hits for that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get some backlash for that. But to be able to come into a space as our full authentic selves and say, I don't mind suffering for this because this is what I'm passionate about. I don't mind suffering if I know there are kids that are growing up like I grew up, who wanted to see themselves, who wanted to know there was a space, who wanted to know that affirmation existed and that there was hope on the other side. If something I do can lend to that, then that's my life's work right there. Like, I feel like I've, lived more in the past 2 years of disclosed life, just being able to operate in who I am and do the work that I am passionate about, do the work that I feel is actually changing the culture. Like that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? You can keep the accolades, you can keep the recognition. If I know there's a child who sees themselves and feels that they have a reason to keep going and keep pushing, and maybe let me go on to another day because another day might be different. And if I can just hold on to the potential of that difference, and if I can contribute to that potential of a difference, then I feel like I am serving my purpose on this earth.
Y'all showing out today. Y'all are really showing out today. And I'm full transparency to the people out there watching. They done breezed through my questions. So now I'm gonna have to go full TC mode on them. And no, and like I told y'all, this is a conversation like we sitting at the kitchen table. Both of you can answer this. What did you need as a child from your parent, Josh? growing up. And Camika, what did you need? What do you think? Not even think. What did you need from community to help you raise Nigel? Because I truly believe in a village, right? Because even when you were talking about love outside of your home, we need them villages outside the home too as protection. So what did you need? What did you need from community? So whoever wants to answer first,
Let me go
Mm.
first because this kind of touched me.
take your time.
I'm gonna speak first from my inner child. As an inner child, you just need love. You need to feel safe. You need to feel protected. You just want to know that mommy, daddy, grandma, auntie, whoever is the parent figure in your life is just going to be there. Experiencing losing Nigel, first of all, at such a young age, he was only 15. Like, no 15-year-old child should be somewhere contemplating suicide.
Right.
As much as I wish I could go back in time and right every wrong, change his story, I know I can't. I can only learn from it and help someone else. So that's the point of my every being from that day forward is to try to bring awareness, understanding. So I feel like Nigel didn't feel protected. He didn't feel love from a community. He didn't feel as if he had a safe space. Sometimes kids need to know that even when they don't believe in themselves, that you believe in them. It hurts because as a parent you want to do everything you can to try to protect your children. And of course, me going through this whole lawsuit, I can't, really get into it, but there has been things that I wasn't even aware of that was taking place, and finding it out is it like it I don't know, it opens a closed wound all over again. These kids need to feel protected, whether they at home, at school, the Boys and Girls Club, over Auntie Keisha house. It doesn't matter where they are. Kids need to feel protected. They need to feel safe. They need to be allowed to just be children.
Mm.
These children nowadays have some of the same trials and tribulations that we had growing up, but they're not sometimes mentally equipped, enough to deal with it. They are a lot softer than we were. So I got bullied when I was a child, at school. It's history repeating itself, but we're not actually the same. You get what I'm saying? To be able to
Mm-hmm.
handle situations the same way. Like something that may have not been a big deal 10 years ago can be something so traumatizing today. So
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
the community needs to adjust. We are in a world now where people love to follow trends. Let's make it a trend to
Mm.
make these kids feel safe. Let's make it a
Come
Mm.
trend to
on.
make these kids feel love.
Yes.
Let's make it a trend for you to feel it's okay to love your child if they may be gay, lesbian, whatever. Like let's make that a trend. I know people still today are terrified to tell family members, friends, relatives, whoever, that they're gay because they don't know how someone is going to react, or they're scared that, they're going to be left alone, they're going to be judged. Like, let's normalize being gay. It's just a sexual preference. That's it. Like, it's nothing more than just who I'm sexually attracted to.
That.
That's it. It's not
That
going
part.
to affect the way you do your job. It's not going to affect the way you live or the way the next person, I should say, live their life. Let's just make it normal. This should not even continue to be a topic, because
Period.
it should be normal. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's focus on something else other than you being judgmental of who a person decide they want to be. It's ridiculous.
This is beautiful. I'm looking at the comments, y'all. I'm gonna let you answer next, Josh, and then I'm gonna jump into the comments. If y'all got questions, drop them off too, y'all. But Kamika, you out here giving a whole word.
And he is.
Okay.
If I haven't experienced anything from this tragedy, I have experienced knowledge.
Mm,
I ain't the perfect parent. I was not the perfect parent, but I never lacked loving him.
mm.
I may have not always understood him. I may have not always agreed with him, but I never changed the way I loved him.
Mm.
That needs to be normal.
Mm.
Make that normal.
Mm.
That's
Woo,
powerful.
okay. Cause I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna hide. Okay.
Listen, be you.
Listen.
That's why we here, to let you and everybody else know. Be you, and it's okay.
Y'all just You said you weren't a perfect parent, but you didn't change the way you loved your baby. Do you know how powerful, just how powerful that is?
Because it's the
Because,
truth.
like when I hear that, and then I hear, and I think back to my mom, because that's my point of reference. It wasn't the best. It just wasn't. She was not a good parent. She just wasn't. But now that I'm older, Lord have mercy, that woman did what she could with what she had.
Yeah.
And what I didn't think was love was really her giving us the love that she had, because at the end of the day, if you ain't got enough love for yourself, you ain't got nothing to give your babies. And I wish she had taken more time for herself, but you just gave me a whole nother perspective
Listen at
about
this.
this thing.
I I I wouldn't. I know the relationship that you had with your mom. You probably felt not loved. You probably felt like she was ashamed of you.
Mm,
But you have to remember your mom's history. Like, she grew up in a world where it wasn't okay. You couldn't accept it. However, for these parents now that's getting information and that's being informed, it's okay. Those are the parents that I would fault going forward. Your mom, I'm pretty sure she loved you. I don't see how she could not love you. Like, I fell in love with you the first day I met you. You remember the conversation we had? You asked me what I needed, and I was like, nothing but if I need something, it'll be some bottled water. Like, you remember that conversation we had? From that moment, it was something so special about you that I knew that our friendship was not going to end there. So I don't see how your mother could have not loved you. I don't think it's that she didn't love you. She just know what she knew, and that's
mm,
it.
mm, mm,
So
Mm.
going forward, I think that you should maybe, like, cut her a little slack and take that into consideration, because that's all she knew. Like, a person only know what they know.
So I'm gonna let you answer, Josh. I swear. But Camika, your relationship with Nigel changed my relationship with my mother. We are doing the work. I'm in therapy. I'm loving
It's okay.
seeing you love your baby. I wanted that, and now I have it.
That's good.
I have it, and I need you to know that's because of you. Because of
Amen.
you, the way
Oh,
you loved your baby.
you got my
Because of
mama back
the
there crying, TC.
way, the way you loved your baby. Hey, ma, but the way
Now,
you
hold
love
on.
your
Listen,
baby.
hold on. I gotta stop and hug my mama. Hold on.
Okay, but Josh, I'm gonna let you mercy. I'm gonna let you. We gonna mute her microphone and let you answer.
I got you. So before I jump into that answer, I do want to piggyback off one just powerful thing that Camika said. We have to get to a point where we can have this conversation and desexualize sexuality, as like contradictory as that might feel. Because when I come into a space and I tell you, I recognize same-sex attraction in preschool, the first thought in your mind is, what does the preschooler think about hunching? Because it's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. Pre-puberty, there is an attraction that exists that does not have to do with sex at all. And once again, when we go back to that idea of narrative, of autonomy when it comes to telling our own stories, I know I have friends that knew, that talk about, I remember it was a thread on Twitter once and everybody was just kind of dropping, when did you know? I'm talking about elementary school. I'm talking about young elementary school age, telling us that we knew, right? So yeah, I think it's just so critical that once again we desexualize sexuality. Not that sex is not an important part of it, but even in an essay I wrote, you know, when we look at sex, that's like a portion of our personality, but the way that queer folk are looked at, sex is the sum. It's not just like a part of the whole, it's everything. And when we talk about queer identity and queer experience, we are immediately sexualized. So I had to tag on that piece because that was so powerful what Camika said in terms of, you know, it's just their sexual preference and it's so much bigger, right? Because it really is. It's so dynamic and diverse and there are so many moving pieces. But to answer the question, what do I think I would have benefited from? I just think that subtle nod, that subtle, I see you and it's okay. You know, like we say, you know, the thing is, if there's so much external rejection, you can't have that on the inside too. Come on now, you gotta pick one, right? And hopefully in the most ideal circumstance, you won't have to pick, but it can just be love flowing everywhere. But you know, the thing is, like, I mean, if you think we're going to hell, like, wouldn't it make sense to love us and be good to us while we're here? If that is your, you know, mentality, if that's what you're standing down on. I remember being younger and thinking to myself, oh, I'm never coming out, right? And I'm talking young. I already made it up in my mind. I just said, I'm gonna be one of the people that just never get married, you know, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm too dramatic to have a beard. Like, when nobody believe it. I knew for me, and that's no shade, by the way, to anybody that's watching that is your journey. But I knew for me that was not gonna work. And I remember just the haul of it all, of having to carry that secret and the weight of it. And ironically, that was one of the biggest factors in my journey of coming out. I was getting hit with too much stuff at the same time. And this 20-plus-year-old secret that I had, I couldn't do it anymore. And I remember the weekend before coming out, I was in the club with my homegirls or whatever. And you know, as this mass presenting straight guy, it's certain things that you're not supposed to do in the club. But when you're being yourself, it's going to slip out anyway. So I was with my homegirl just having fun, you know, throwing some ass like all the good girls do. And I remember a guy came up to me and he was like, yeah, I've been watching you all night. And in that moment, it cemented for me what I had known so many other times along the journey. There is no hiding who you are. Now, we might be quiet about it, whether it's you, whether it's the people around you that notice little differences, but no matter how actively and vehemently you fight to keep your secret a secret, somebody's watching, somebody is seeing. And in that moment, it was so exhausting because I was just sitting up here like, I'm trying, y'all.
so
And that's what
hard,
really
and I
breaks my
can't give
heart.
out.
Exactly. And that's what breaks my heart, especially when we're talking about Black queer youth. It's like, I really am trying, y'all. I was trying. I was giving the best college effort that I really could to keeping it a secret. And regardless of everything I did, every precaution I put into place, somebody could still see it. And at the end of the day, somebody is always seeing it. So I think growing up, just, having the affirmation, because we always talk about representation and representation matters. I remember the first time I saw Marco on Degrassi, and like Spinner couldn't understand why he didn't want to date Hazel. And he said, because Spinner, like chill out. Like, I'm not really trying to talk. I'm not trying to have this conversation. And then, he finally says, because I'm gay. And then you see the look of disgust on Spinner's face. And as a child, you understand that you're not keeping this secret for naught, that this is a reality. So like when you're seeing this representation, it's amazing, right? Got Noah's Ark on with my finger on the remote on the back button, just in case I hear that door open. But being able to see yourself and being able to know that there's possibility and that there is hope. Like I said, growing up, I never thought I was gonna come out. That's dead. What? I'm in a religious, conservative environment. That's not a possibility, right? And even as a child, when you think, to the science of development, there literally is a period where children cannot abstractify their thought, where everything is only concrete. So if you tell me that I cannot do this is what I hear as a child. Here is my identity, but you are telling me I cannot be this. So now I have to reconcile the cognitive dissonance of what it means to not be able to be what I already am. How does that work? My mind that only knows how to concretize at this age can't even begin to understand what are the social implications of that. I can't get to the abstract thought of what it is to hide right now. So I'm literally trying to figure out, what are you saying? I can't be who I already am. So I think it is so beautiful when we have, spaces of affirmation, when we have conversations like this that hopefully better prepare the youth that are coming up for what maybe we didn't have. Because for a young kid who said he was never going to come out, God blessed him to find a TC and a QBell.
Wow.
And to have conversations, okay? And to have an Out Loud Huntsville, okay? Where there was exposure to something different, to the alternative, to the hope that I talked about earlier. That there is different, that the one thing you were told from the authoritative figures around you about what you could and could not do, that wasn't the end, that there was a concession to that there was hope, that there was possibility outside of that. So uber thankful to obviously cross path with you all, as well as so many others along the way who had, those integral, roles and like showing me that there was like a different future, that everything wasn't misery, that it was not unto death, that there was a life on the other side. Because, like I said, and, I shared it with you recently, but I created this video essay, and it's called Derivative. And what it essentially posits is that, it's beautiful because we welcome June, Pride, the commercialism of it all, get your rainbow, get your flags, all of that stuff. But Pride is derivative. Pride did not just exist as itself. Pride came from something darker. Pride came from self-hate. Pride came from fear. Pride came from doubt. Pride came from rejection. So yes, when you see us up here beaming and shining and yes, and rainbows and everything, that didn't just exist in a vacuum. It didn't come out of nowhere. There were a lot of dark things that preceded it. So yeah, I just think that space for affirmation. And like I said, I'm glad I found y'all in, what was it, like late teens, young 20s. But just imagine if we had that representation for our babies, for real, to be able to see. And it's like, okay, I love you, I got you. Because here's the thing, there's so much beauty in chosen family, but there's nobody, with the chosen family because their real family didn't choose them. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody just goes and gets an extra chosen family. There is a reason that people have a chosen family. So a lot of moving pieces to it, but yeah, I think definitely that space for affirmation can make a world of difference, I will say.
You better, y'all better. I got what I needed today. When I tell y'all, this has been a hell of a week, and I feel like I got my strength back. I feel like I got my hope back.
Oh,
And I just want to thank you both. Okay, hey, shit about. Anyway, I'm glad to have y'all here. And to the people out there, I know we didn't get to jump into the questions, but I want to give us enough time to hop off and make it in time to see Q Bell on NBC News Now. Talking on panel, this is huge. Okay, you better be proud of your uncle. Josh is my baby, y'all. But I want to thank you both. Let me make sure. Let me look in the comments real quick. Okay, we good over here? Do we have a Black organization that built on the foundation of loving families and assist parents of Black LGBTQ youth, people, and allies who support one another, and to educate ourselves and our communities to speak up as advocates? Let me introduce you to the Knights and Orchid Society. Let me introduce you to Camika Shelby's movement. Let me introduce you to Josh Baker. We are all organizations. We are all movements. I'm listening.
Speaking of, I am trying to get everything up and running for the Nigel Foundation.
Y'all hear this?
I was in the shower one day and something just came to me. So I was going to call it the Nigel Shelby Foundation, but then this great idea came that I'm going to just call it Nigel. And it's going to stand for Now I Give Everlasting Love.
Wow.
So we're coming with that.
You got support over here.
Be on the lookout. It's coming.
Whatever you need, whatever you need. You got, that is beautiful. Whatever you need. I know Q Bell somewhere watching going, oh yeah, we own that one. We own that one.
We definitely getting this safe space together.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I don't even want to cut this short, but we got to head out. Josh, do you have anything coming up?
Nothing I can think of off the top.
Okay. I just want to thank you both. Y'all see their cash apps, right? And we're going to support Camika's Nigel Foundation. That is beautiful. And I want to say to the both of you, I love you both so much. And I hope you know that's just not lip service. I love you both as if you're my own family.
I know you do. There has been times where, I was on edge and you was the first person that I called to kind of reel me back in. So I know it's genuine.
Anything for y'all. Anything. Okay, I got to get up out of here before I start crying again.
Look, I want to watch too.
Yes. Y'all, let's go support Q Bell, TKO. Yes, Janice, TKO is out here. That's Film Daddy, y'all. TKO is out here. And I love y'all. I love you both so much. Let's do this again.
Let's do it.
Let's do this again. Thank you. And we're going to end it right here, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.